So people are saying you have a cult and brainwash people, and you have a criminal enterprise. And I was like, what? You need to know how to survive a twin flame cult. Okay? It's very simple. It's very simple. Okay? Let's assume that you found that you're in a twin flame cult first. You're in the twin flame cult. The first step is realizing you're in a twin flame cult. Okay? And if you're in a twin flame cult, they're going to want your money.
I'm with Coleman Watts, Think It Through YouTube channel, and I found you because you did some really awesome videos on the twin flame universe, and you're funny as shit. So, and it was actually a short. That was the first thing I saw, was one of your shorts where you were really going off on more of the scammer grifter end. And yeah. So I want you to just share with me how they came into your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have been obsessed with cults for a little while, and I stumbled across Twin Flames Universe. I think it was originally through the connection of the A Little Bit Culty podcast, and then the Netflix documentary came out. When I came across those two, I was shocked, like everybody else, at seeing the documentary. But then when I actually went and looked at their YouTube channel, because their videos from 10 years ago are still up on YouTube, and I was like, I have to do something on this, because it was so obvious that they were scammers from the very beginning. I mean, Jeff had been claiming that he could cure cancer. Jeff had been, trying to grift and find any little thing that he could to try to make a buck in the spiritual world without having to do too much work. Like, obviously, he didn't want to become a yoga teacher, because then you got to go to work every day. So he was trying to do something that involves not doing work, like remote healing through Skype or something like that, where basically he could just take a nap, the person could pay him money, and then he could claim that he had healed them through his, chakra, energy, vibration, whatever.
Right. And then he claims, of course, to be the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Well, that came a little bit later. I think he definitely built himself up once they started to have a following. I have no idea how they started to get a following, because, look, there are thousands and thousands of people in this space who are trying to do the same thing that they do and not succeeding in it. For every one grifter that we hear about in the news, there is a very long tail of wannabes that are trying to do the same thing. So I don't know what caused them to rise to the top. Probably just dumb luck, honestly. They got lucky for whatever reason, and now they have a following. And Jeff thinks that gives him a divine provenance. Jeff thinks that, in fact, that he is divine. He literally put that in his name.
Right. 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 So they started in Sedona, Arizona. And they started, I think, more with doing readings, tarot readings, and
well, they started in Hawaii, actually, didn't they?
Well, he started in Hawaii, but they met online,
right?
And then meeting online, they came together in Sedona, and of course, Sedona is Sedona, the biggest.
Because I love this. They tell the story on their YouTube channel of how they first met, and it involved Megan reaching out to Jeff and asking if he was horny. That was that's the teen romance story, which,
Have you read any of this book?
No.
Oh, you have got to at least go peek at a couple pages on Amazon, because it starts off right away with, Megan asked me if I was horny, and then it goes into Jeff could get laid all day long in Hawaii. He had no interest in her because he's getting laid left and right, being a surf boy. So he had no interest in her. And why, I don't know, maybe he thought, okay, this will be good, right, for marketing or something. Right.
I have noticed, as I've been making my YouTube videos about various spiritual grifters and new age grifters, they all have something in common, which is that they literally can never, ever stop talking about themselves. If you ask one of them to get up and give a Dharma talk or whatever kind of sermon that they give, they will stand up and happily talk for 90 minutes, 120 minutes, however long you give them, and the entire talk will be about themselves. So I have no doubt that this entire book that Jeff wrote is just about himself.
Right. is. It really is. And you can see because they have their own faces on a t-shirt, okay? What does this say to you? Ego? And it says like the master or something. But I do know, like currently, I believe most of their followers at this point are all out of India.
Twist. Usually the guru is from India and the followers from America. So that's
Right.
something new.
Well, because Americans, I think, are finally waking up a little bit, but still not. So what is that with him? What is it, do you think? Because you and I can see through that, right? I mean, we immediately look at it and we're like, who would follow these people? Who would really believe his dogma, his bullshit? Who believes that? But people do.
It seems that Jeff has found a market among desperate people. It seems that, you know, with any scam, the key to any scam is to find out what the other person wants and offer them that, even if you don't have it to offer. So he's found lonely people. He's found people who are unsuccessful in their relationships, and he is offering them a solution. And the way that he offers it is by basically holding up his girlfriend and saying, look what I have. You could have that too. Because, and this is sort of the key to all success coach sort of things, is I'm successful, therefore you can be successful too. It's the, you know, how to make $1 million by writing ebooks. Just buy my ebook to tell you how.
Oh, let me ask first really quick. Do you think they're a cult?
Yes.
You do?
I do, because the word cult is not very well defined. So you have to ask what you mean by cult. But I go by what Dr. Steve Hassan has defined as high control groups, using what he calls the BITE model, which is behavior control, information control, thought control, and emotional control. And I think that Jeff and Megan employ all of those techniques on their followers. They limit their access to information. They limit their, they try to control their feelings. You know, Jeff telling that girl how happy she must be to have found the love of her life when she was miserable, and just trying to force her to believe that she was happy. You know, he's done that to many of his followers. So the control is really what makes a cult a high control group. So yeah, they are in a lot of ways, maybe not in every single way, but no cult checks every single box, but it checks enough of them.
Give me your take then on the pyramid scheme, multi-level marketing feel with Jeff and Shaliea and Twin Flame Universe.
Jeff seems to want to do as little work as possible, so he wants his followers to do all of the heavy lifting. And so he's going to recruit people to recruit people. He doesn't even want to recruit people anymore. He wants his recruits to recruit people. And so anything that he can pass down the pyramid is exactly what he's going to do. And cult leaders generally are very lazy people. They want things to be handed to them. They want to be worshipped. They want to be adored. They want to be followed, and they don't want to do the work. They're beneath that. That's beneath them.
Right. Okay. So we have this level where it starts with all the online things to find your twin flame. And then it trickles down into the coaching to become a master certified coach. And then we have the offshoots of that with Divine Dish. We have MAP, which is mind alignment process.
And mind alignment process is thought control. That is what it is. And Divine Dish is behavior control. Controlling what people eat is classic cult thing. And I mean, Divine Dish, what a loony idea for a business. Like, it's not DoorDash. They don't deliver food. It's not HelloFresh. They don't deliver groceries. They don't give you anything except for recipes that they copied and pasted for free off the internet, that you could copy and paste for free off the internet, but you pay them for it. It's incredible. So I've watched a lot of his videos. I've watched a barf level amount of his videos all the way through from start to finish. There's a video where he's just floating around in a pool talking about how great he is. There's a video where he's sitting on his porch, you know, talking about what a sex machine he is. In several of those videos, he says, you know, too bad this video isn't good enough quality, but somebody needs to buy me a selfie stick. You know, if somebody buys me a selfie stick, this video will be better.
we have this Church of Union, and he tells them a part of being the church, you have to, volunteer, and you have to give tithing to this church that doesn't even exist except for YouTube. He does nothing for the community. It's a nonprofit. So how is he utilizing this? In my mind, I can share, but I would like to hear your input.
Typically, the idea of a church, at least in theory, is that a church is tax exempt because the church is doing a service for the community. Now, what service is Jeff's church doing for the community? Is he feeding the poor? Is he helping anyone with anything? It's totally breaking that contract, such as it is. You can say what you want about that contract and whether it's really worth it for the taxpayers, but Jeff it's just a loophole for him. It's the same with L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard started the Church of Scientology. It wasn't a real church. He just wanted the tax exemption. If you think about the way that other cult leaders have been brought down, like Keith Raniere of Nexium, who is now in jail on racketeering and sex trafficking charges, cult leaders often, not always, but often just can't help themselves. They have all this power, they have all this money, they have all of this following, and they just can't stop themselves from amping it up even more and even more until they break the law. And so there comes a point where a cult leader has so much power that they think that they're invincible. They think that they're above the law. They think that they can do whatever they want to do. So if at some point Jeff decides that he has multiple twin flames, or if at some point Jeff decides that he doesn't have to pay taxes for anything, if Jeff decides that he can get away with not paying his employees anything, which he already does, I think.
Right.
If Jeff decides to go after ex-members and try to, harass them in illegal ways, there are points where cult leaders just cross the line and get caught. And I don't know where Jeff is close or not close to that. Seems like he's been walking on that line for a while. And so, in my view, it's just a matter of time until the whole thing comes crashing down.
It'll just implode on itself eventually, yes?
Well, there has to be someone to blow the whistle. There has to be someone to take action.
Right.
And I'm kind of shocked after all the media exposure they got a few years ago that more action hasn't been done. That's kind of shocking. I think what's desperately needed in this country and around the world is coercive control laws to make it illegal to use the kind of mind control techniques that cause people to quote unquote do things of their own free will, like join a cult. And there's some things like that. There's truth in advertising laws. Obviously, Jeff is not telling the truth when he advertises his group and what it can do for people. But that's
Right.
difficult to enforce.
Right.
And so, but I really think that Jeff is the kind of person who is egotistical enough and not smart enough that he will cross the line multiple times and get busted for it. Like you said, they delete things that make him look bad, but everything makes him look bad. And Jeff tried to delete the video, that video of himself sitting on the floor with candles all around him, where he says that he is the Christ.
I am the Master Christ. I said that. I coined that term. I made that up. I literally just made it up. Oh, I'm Christ. Hi. Came again. And I'm not hiding anything. Like, I'm literally telling you I'm Christ.
I don't know what he was high on when he made that video.
Legal now.
But he tried to delete it, but it's still available. I have a copy on my hard drive. I'm not giving that up. Social media has made it possible to herd people into groups, keep them isolated, keep the information contained, so that people are just in an echo chamber getting this reinforcement all the time. and you can, you know, and somebody's going to take the reins of that and turn it into a cult or a political party or what have you. And boy, oh boy, our social media companies are doing a worse and worse job of reining that in. People have figured out how to make a buck and get around the law and do things that are not technically illegal. I think that Jeff is probably crossing that line, though. I think that he is heading to get busted for something. I don't know what. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there who, you know, figured out to milk the social media algorithms to get followers, to get people to believe whatever they say. And, you know, I think this is been true for all of human history. But right now, I think it's a great time to know the art of bullshit, because all you got to do to be popular on social media now is just turn on the camera and run your mouth for 2 hours, and you've got people believing whatever you say. I do think that I can't think of any reason for Jeff and Megan's success other than dumb luck, that they just happened to get the right clicks at the right time, or they happened to get the right follower who shared their videos to the right people. Because honestly, they do not have the talent, they do not have the charisma, they do not have the wisdom, they do not have the work ethic to otherwise be successful. What do people need? What can I sell? Oh, people are sick. I can sell artificially healing them. Okay, there we go. Or it requires a level of delusion where you think that you are so divine that you really can cure cancer because you just wanna. But to say that he could cure cancer without any evidence, it takes a lot of, I think, greed and an incredible lack of any sort of conscience to do that sort of thing.
But if you were to label him, or describe him, how would you describe him?
Jeff is entitled, he's self-centered, he uses people, he has transactional relationships. All of those are symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder. So I think that's very likely. I'm not in a position to really diagnose anybody. I'm not a mental health professional. But when I think about people who are narcissistic, self-centered, abusive towards others, he checks all those boxes. If you want to see my videos about Twin Flame Universe or my other videos taking down cult leaders and grifters, just go to youtube.com/@thinkthisthrough channel. I'll be there. See you later.